One thing he's asking for is in-person meetings, which we've had in Eagle Rock throughout the quarter, and there have been at least 20. So it's like, why do we want to go through that process again? So Kevin De Leon can't say there's been no outreach when this has been going on for years. We've all spent hours on this.
I think this letter that he released to Boulevard Sentinel yesterday harms his chances for environmentalist support. Kevin De Leon needs to hear from people who this affects, folks who care about transit, folks who care about clean air, folks who care about sustainability, walkability, bikeability, who wouldn't vote for him as mayor if this is the sort of stance he takes.
It's disappointing, I think, to a lot of us that there's been a lot of outreach. I've been to a handful of the meetings that Metro has put on over the past, I think it's over 2 years. Not just in Eagle Rock, but Glendale, Burbank. It's a huge project. The way I see it is if you allow one neighborhood to significantly delay a project that's this big, it has ramifications that are far and wide and that last for decades.
Welcome to another episode of Bike Talk. Going, how many years now, Nick? 12 years that you've been doing this?
We started in 2008, so
13 years.
I'm just not even counting.
It's fantastic. So, yet another great guest today. We're going to have Felicia Garcia with Eagle Rock Beautiful Boulevard. She's an organizer with that group. They're organizing for a boulevard that would have BRT and bike lanes. And right now it's up for consideration. Felicia, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Okay, so Colorado Boulevard. So now Kevin De Leon, he replaced Jose Huizar, was very friendly.
In Northeast LA, we've been pushing for Metro for their NoHo to Pasadena BRT route to take place on Colorado, not on the freeway, as some anti-bus folks wanted it. And so we have this beautiful boulevard community-driven plan. It's got a lot of support from local leaders like Supervisor Hill DeSolis, the local PTAs, Occidental College and their student governments and clubs, a lot of progressive organizations and climate nonprofits, businesses and residents of Eagle Rock. So it was pretty baffling when last night, the local paper Boulevard Sentinel shared the news that Kevin De Leon opposes Beautiful Boulevard. And he's stating that there hasn't been enough outreach and that he wants to see a proposal which maintains all vehicle lanes as is. So that was pretty terrible to see that.
So, I've kind of heard little rumors here and there that Kevin De Leon, one of his big supporters, is a business owner who is opposed to this plan. So he's got, I guess that's the type of people that have his ear, right? Or have you been following any of that?
The thing that's really frustrating is that there's so much widespread community support, even people who are not initially on board after so many meetings, they're on board because they realize this is going to be the thing for the community. It's going to benefit a lot of people. And so it's just baffling to see that he's giving in and he's taking the side of Michael Noguera, who's in charge of the Chamber of Commerce, which our business district is how it is because he's not doing anything with that. And then we have a local realtor who keeps spreading conspiracy theories. The latest one is that I run Streetsblog. And so why is he siding with these people, especially if you do have higher aspirations, to be mayor? Why not take this easy win of doing the great thing of being a climate champion? We did all the work of creating the plan.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so from here, what are the chances at this point? What are you guys thinking? What's the strategy?
I mean, all we can do is just keep showing that there is community support. So last night he released his statement in the Boulevard Sentinel. He hasn't actually released it on his own social media or anything. And then this morning I noticed on Nextdoor a new neighbor had joined, and their first post was like, "Hi neighbors, I'm concerned about the Beautiful Boulevard project. How do you guys feel? Check out this website." And so the anti-bus people, they made a new website that's kind of mimicking the Beautiful Boulevard one.
Oh my gosh, no.
Really, and they even link to this one, and they're trying to say that they're objective. It's just confusing at this point. And so that guy, it was clearly a dummy account meant to like rile people up against it.
Sure.
The beautiful
Sure.
Boulevard. Like the picture looks suspicious. I like reverse image searched it. It was like an AI generated face.
No,
I
really?
reported it to Nextdoor. The guy was removed and his post was removed, but it's just like, these are shady tactics that they're using versus all this coalition building that we're doing.
Wow. Okay, so an AI generated profile, fake profile image of who they are. Do we want to publicize the website? Like, I want to see this thing. Like, is there a way to?
No, we don't. We just want everyone, if you want to get involved, go to eagrockforward.com.
eaglerockforward.com.
Yeah, if you haven't signed the petition yet, sign the petition. You'll be updated with whatever actions there are to take.
Okay. Have you been following on Twitter? Do you know who Seamus Garrity is? We're going to have him on.
Yeah,
next.
I was reading all the tweets.
Okay, so you saw that. I only just now heard about it. I haven't checked Twitter. So what's going on there? Like, so Seamus is adding his voice to the mix, and he's pro bike. He's pro Beautiful Boulevard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. That's good to have people like that on board. Interesting. So what's the next? A decision hasn't been made by Kevin De Leon. He's just asking for more input now. It's going to take more time. So now what? Now it's like rally the troops again. And
his letter was just really frustrating because one thing he's asking for is in-person meetings, which we've had in Eagrock throughout the quarter, but in Eagrock we've had more than the other neighborhoods. And there have been at least 20 in-person meetings. And for him to ask for that at this time, and especially when we know it's not like equitable, we know who is showing up to the meetings. We know what happens when you do show up. Even when we had that Zoom meeting, I think it was last month or the month before, the anti-bus people spoke on for great lengths, and they were just like trashing other people, calling anyone who supported the bus not a real stakeholder. So it's like, why do we want to go through that process again?
I mean, I could see why he would do it for his own selfish reasons. You know, like he needs to have a reason to be out there and see people and preside over something. And so it's like a big kind of ego thing for him, I guess. But does it have to be an in-person meeting? Can it be Zoom? Why is he doing that? Like, that part is a little suspect. Like, Zoom's kind of rad. You don't have to.
It's definitely made things more accessible for people, especially
people
who don't have access to a car that they can just hop into.
Totally. Huh.
If there were going to be more in-person meetings, I would suggest that they take place like solely on the bus or at bus stations, because we know those are who's not getting their feedback heard.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so there's something. What if there was some sort of campaign to push Kevin De Leon to host a meeting on a bus as well? If you're going to do these meetings in person, then you should do one on the bus as well, like several meetings on the bus. Catch the morning and evening commuters on the bus and talk to them.
Yeah, and he's saying he wants to reach a consensus of a bus route. But the thing is, the people who've been rallying against the bus, they don't care about the bus route. They don't want people in Eagrock.
Yeah.
They wrote that on Nextdoor, like, we don't want any more people coming through here.
Mm-hmm.
He mentioned the phrase, keep that small town feeling, but we know where that derives from.
Yeah, there's like a sort of a little sus.
Like we've seen that real estate ad for Eagrock that said like whites only, and it's like we need to keep moving away from that, not try to get back to that. Yeah,
totally. I mean, the funny part too is because what they're complaining about, which is traffic, like outsider traffic. It's like that's the freeway traffic is the very definition of outsider traffic coming through there, and keeping Colorado Boulevard, I don't know, what is it right now, 4 lanes, 5 lanes, that encourages that very thing that they don't want. And then the old town feel would come back with reducing the lanes and increasing pedestrian and mass transit, which Colorado used to have. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's definitely enough space to make it like something for everyone, and why we wouldn't take advantage of that, especially like our business district could use that boost. It's really puzzling.
So here's where Joe Linton would probably bite my head off, but is there some business coalition there that can step up and try to outshout this other guy? like get their voice heard. Because obviously Kevin De Leon is listening to this guy, I guess, because he donated to his campaign or something. But it's like, can there be some coalition of business owners that also step up and talk to him? Is that still possible at this point?
There's a lot of prominent business owners, like even some who had been anti-BRT, like the owner of Pinecone. They've come around and they have a few restaurants on Colorado. And that's what just makes it mind-boggling. It's like Kevin De Leon's stuck in the past. Like he once heard that Sir Michael was ruling the town, and things are not like that anymore. I mean, if we see the latest headline with him, it's his son was in the news for setting fire to a homeless encampment.
Oh, that was the guy. Yeah, that's right.
And
his son set fire to a homeless encampment.
And he bailed him out the next day with $1 million. And he's the same guy that last year he was writing All Lives Matter on Black Lives Matter post on the neighborhood Facebook group. And it's like, why are you sticking with this guy? Like,
yeah, like Kevin De Leon is aligned with this guy. Like, okay, it's Streetsblog like article right there.
That's old news. So it's weird that, like, we know that Kevin De Leon came from Sacramento. He doesn't know what's been happening here. He's thinking of why his team hasn't, like, updated him and let him know, like, okay, these are who you want to be seen with. You don't want to be keeping that guy's company.
It's weird how council members will do that, though. I've seen that happen with the Hyperion Bridge thing. It was like Mitchell Farrell, like, aligned himself with these these were like Trump people, that were like opposing that bridge shit. I don't know. It's weird how that happens. This feels like an opportunity, though, to like really call this guy out. Like maybe Streetsblog can do like an article on this and kind of call him out, right? Because maybe he just doesn't know.
You mean about like who he's aligning with? Because,
yeah.
So in March, I think it was, or February, right before the election for CD14, I was tweeting about this, and so the LA Times picked it up and they said, you're going to hold a fundraiser at the house of the family where this just happened, like 6 months prior, and he claimed ignorance and he canceled the event. But he knew then, like, he got bad press for it, and he still
okay. That's good news, though, because so he backed down in that. Now what's up? Let's get the LA Times story going again. He's continuing to align with this scuzzy character. Maybe there's some pressure point there, right? Like, let's alert the media. Nick, alert the media. Let's get this story going. I don't know. I'm always trying to think of some like pressure point that's just
because it's just him, and then there's all like the PTAs, Occidental Color, businesses, and we did all this work, and to think that all that work was done, but it didn't matter because the other side hasn't done the same legwork at all.
Totally. I'm always interested in the process, right? Like, what's the next step in the process? Is he going to make a decision soon? What's the next step? Metro has to make a decision?
So if Metro listens to him and they give into his like request or demand for in-person meetings, that might be on hold a bit, like maybe, I don't know, in a couple of months. But that's the thing that's really frustrating, is that this is a project spanning from North Hollywood to Pasadena, and it's going to keep being delayed just because some people are being entitled and they want exactly what they want, and the councilman's going to give into that. It's kind of embarrassing that like this thing that can help people, we're holding it up. We just want to bike safely, take the bus places, be able to walk down the street. That's hard to believe for.
Well, this has been going on for how long now?
It's like in 2018 when we first started. They were even coming to like the Rock Music Festival and tabling, and they had like a big board for people to like talk about what they wanted to see on the street. So the
Metro,
the little post-its and everything.
Yeah.
Those things.
So Kevin De Leon can't say there's been no like outreach when this has been going on for years. We've all spent hours on this.
We're gonna bring Seamus on. But, we'd love to have you stay and discuss with Seamus if you want, or if you want to come back and get on the call with Seamus and talk about this. You're totally welcome to.
What is his title?
Seamus? I think it's Chief of Staff for Laura Friedman. Is this true?
No, I know it is. It's Senior Field Representative.
Okay, Senior Field Representative for Laura Friedman. But he's not speaking on behalf of Laura Friedman. He's just speaking for himself. And he tweeted out earlier today a letter to Kevin De Leon to make it happen with this plan, with Beautiful Colorado plan. And be about it, because they make all these claims that they're about like climate change and reducing traffic, and then when it comes down to it, politicians just cave. I don't know what the heck's going to change that.
Can you go over the option that there's 3 options?
So the name of this one is the refined one because it took qualities from the first option. The problem that people have is that for some blocks, not most and not all, but some blocks, Colorado would be reduced to 1 vehicle lane because there would be a bus only lane, a vehicle driving lane, a parking lane, and then the bike lane would be a parking protected bike lane. So we're asking for a lot, but it does all fit when you lay it out that way.
Okay. And then the other options are pretty...
The option that the anti-bus people liked was the one that combined the bus lane with the bike lane, which doesn't work for anybody unless you're a driver.
Yeah, it's like if you think about like these business districts where it's popping, like Larchmont or Rowena or Virgil or York, there's just example after example where it makes sense to reduce the lanes and slow the cars up, and they're missing an opportunity. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
And something we've seen like online is some people are like, hey, why not have it like Montrose or like Honolulu and Montrose? It's so nice there. And people are saying we don't want a speeding bus.
But is that true though?
No.
I mean, they kind of have a point a little bit.
No, so but the thing is, they think that the rapid transit means that the buses would be exceeding the speed limit of a street. And so we've seen them say, we don't want the speeding bus. We don't want this dangerous bus that would be running over our children. It's like, no, it means rapid as in the frequency that it arrives, and it won't wait in traffic as long with no cars in front of it, but it's not going to be it's not going to be the movie speed.
That is interesting. All these little points need a counterpoint in these public meetings. Oh my God.
People saying we don't want this extra pollution, and they're not realizing, or they don't want to hear. It's like, no, it's going to be electric, 0 emission.
Oh, is it going to be electric? That's amazing.
0 emission. So it's going to be better. There's not going to be bus polluting everywhere.
Okay. Kevin DeLeon, he's flippable. I think we need to make some phone calls. We need to get this Times story to come back.
All right. Hey,
nagging. It's gonna nag him.
Felicia, I only asked you to come on for like a couple minutes, and so I think it would be fair to say that we'll just maybe talk to you next time if
that
you're
sounds good. I just want to say, like, if you want to support, definitely make sure you call. You can leave a voicemail at the CD14 office. If you go to like the website egrocforward.com, or if you look on Twitter, I know people are tweeting that out. So leave a voicemail and let them know that you're not happy with this decision.
Okay. All right. Thanks for all your work.
But seriously, I love your work on Streetsblog, and I hope to see it continue.
Yes. Thank you.
Wow. I don't know if I want to like vilify people and like just make generalizations, but it sounds like those Trump people, right? Like they're constantly dealing in conspiracies.
Listen, let's call Jill Linton right now.
All right.
All right, we have Joe Linton, who is the editor of Streetsblog LA. How you doing? So we just got off, we had Felicia Garcia with Beautiful Boulevard, Colorado.
Yeah,
the
movement. Eagle Rock and stuff, yeah. She's great.
And so she was weighing in on Kevin De Leon's recent, I guess it was a tweet that he wanted to have more community input in meetings.
There's no tweet. He just gave the letter to the Eagle Rock Boulevard Sentinel. It's a leak to a newspaper that has a record of being opposed to BRT.
Okay. So that's the situation. And what now is the move to make to put pressure for him to flip? And one thing that came up was that in the past, I guess the LA Times did kind of an expose on Kevin De Leon's relationship with the person. Nick, do you remember what the details were? It was like, but
something about
the chair of the business association there, who's
Michael Noguera.
Yeah. So
Whose son torched a homeless encampment.
Yeah, so that came out in the LA Times, and Kevin De Leon backed off and recognized that that's kind of a toxic person or regime to associate yourself with versus, Felicia has gotten business letters and petitions and signatures and calls and everything.
Occidental to Oinkster. Yeah.
What was that? Sorry.
I said Occidental to Oinkster. That's what I call it. They have all kinds of support from Jackie Goldberg,
Gotcha.
Laura Friedman, Wendy Carrillo.
Oinkster is the pastrami
and
restaurant.
Hilda Salif. So, yeah, there's really broad support for the beautiful Boulevard stuff.
So is there a point here, like my thought was, okay, at some point, like he's pausing because he's got this guy that's his supporter, and here he is sort of having a relationship with this guy again after the expose in the LA Times and him backing off in the past. He's like back to where he was. This seems like this could be maybe an opportunity to switch it up. Like he'll realize that he's not really with the popular team.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the open speculation is that De Leon wants to run for mayor soon. And I think De Leon's speculation is that throwing transit riders, the wolves, and supporting Eagle Rock NIMBY homeowners is going to help him get elected to mayor. And I think folks who care about transit, folks who care about clean air, folks who care about sustainability, walkability, bikeability, need to let De Leon know that he's not going to be able to run as a climate champion. And he's actually the guy who stuck it to the Western States Petroleum over things like the gas tax. And he's done some really good, courageous things on climate at the state level. But I mean, I think this letter that he released to Boulevard Sentinel yesterday harms his chances for environmentalist support, for equity, so for people who care about Los Angeles beyond white homeowners wanting to keep those people, those transit riders out of their neighborhood. I think Kevin De Leon needs to hear from people who this affects, who wouldn't vote for him as mayor if this is the sort of stance he takes.
Are you going to give us an update on Streetsblog? Are you going to do an article on this?
Yeah, it just published at like 5.
Oh, cool.
There's an article.
Okay, great. I saw on Twitter earlier that Seamus Garrity, who is with Laura Friedman's office but doesn't represent Laura Friedman in his opinion on this, is calling out Kevin De Leon. Did you see that tweet that he sent out?
I can look for it. What?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
So he wrote a letter to Kevin De Leon, basically saying some of the same kind of criticisms that you're saying. He's saying he's this climate champion and pollution and so forth, but then he's opposing these like slam dunk projects that forward that goal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know what to say. I think it's important for someone like Kevin De Leon, who's had a good record, who tweets when San Francisco took cars off of Market Street, tweeted and said, hey, where can we do this in LA? De Leon knows better. And frankly, the letter is all about process and not about the actual aspects of the bus rapid transit project, BRT project. So I think that it sucks. It's climate denialism and catering to racist, white, nativist homeowners that don't want transit riders, people of color, people who, wash their dishes in the restaurant and cook for them and stuff like that to get home and get to their families on transit. But I think that Kevin De Leon is someone who has a record, like Seamus Garrity is saying, has a record of being good on a lot of issues and should know better than this. So I think that people who care about these things need to let Kevin De Leon know, and Kevin De Leon needs to look at the demographics and the populism of this article. I think he's siding with a constituency that's on the wrong side of history and on the wrong side of him getting elected mayor. And
So
I think
why?
it's gonna cost him.
Why is he doing that?
Why is he doing that? I don't know. I think Don's speculation is as good as any. I think he thinks that Eagle Rock business establishment who have raised funds
Money.
are against this. And so he's siding with them.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but homeowners are very consistent voters, right? They're like obsessed with voting.
Look who's on.
Whoa. Hey, Seamus, how's it going?
You told me to be on at 7, and then I got back just now and saw that you wanted me like a half hour ago.
It's all good.
Don just brought up your tweet.
Oh, dang. What did I say? I have to get it up.
Shots fired, man. Wow.
You completely disagree with Councilman Kevin De Leon. Community outreach has been unrelenting. This is an unfortunate take and demonstrates no will to address climate change locally and in a practical way. It's a great sentiment.
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing, I think, to a lot of us that there's been a lot of outreach. I've been to a handful of the meetings that Metro has put on over the past, I think it's over 2 years. Not just in Eagle Rock, but Glendale, Burbank. It's a huge project, and it's a really important project. And I think that basically allowing one neighborhood, I guess the way I see it is if you allow one neighborhood to kill or, significantly delay a project that's this big, something that connects the entire valley to Pasadena, it has ramifications that are far and wide and that last for decades. Everything gets set back. It's not just like, oh, let's have another meeting. It's like, let's reimagine it again. And there was no real clear reason as to why. This is about climate change, right? This is about getting very serious about doing things locally that affect everyone globally. And so I guess it's just something that I read the letter late last night, and I let that tweet fly. And I woke up, I was like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts around what I'd like to see and just my experience as an avid cyclist. One of the reasons I'm late right now is I was just riding, and it's something I do every day. And it's really dangerous. I think that a lot of people got into riding last year, some people for the first time because they were home. And it's interesting because I think the fatalities for cyclists and pedestrians actually went up quite a bit, 30% or something like that last year. And I think that a project like this that enhances that specific type of safety, it's a relatively small project in terms of where it is in the grand scheme of the city, but it has a really big impact. And I think you can look back to what happened in Mike Bonin's district a few years ago when they took that bike lane. And I really think that set us back a whole bunch.
There's been a number of things that have set us back a whole bunch.
Yeah.
But strategically speaking, at this point, Kevin De Leon has not made up his mind, right? So let's talk political strategy. What's the next thing? Where's the pressure point? What's going to change his mind?
I don't know what.
Or he hasn't stated.
I don't know that it's all in
decision. So I shouldn't say
he doesn't, and I don't know that it is his decision entirely. I don't know that it is. I think that he's obviously extremely powerful in that area, but this is the BRT extension, right?
It just seems like the council members get a veto on stuff like that somehow, even though it's Metro. I don't know.
I mean, it's not insignificant. It's not the Eagle Rock Neighborhood Council saying something, which would be hard enough. But I think that the councilman carries a lot more power. I just think that people need to make sure that their voices are heard. I don't think it's about attacking anyone individually. I think that it's about highlighting the importance of it, really communicating how important it is. If he thinks that there needs to be more community input, well, I do think that there is broad community support. There's probably not consensus, right? Mm-hmm. But I don't think that any project that significantly changes our way of life, essentially, is going to get broad consensus. You're never going to have that. You're going to have certain factions of the community that are displeased. And if this is not business as usual, right? This is not just about how many people are killed on bikes and in sidewalks every year. This is also about climate change and getting greenhouse gases. If in transportation, it's 40% of the greenhouse gases in the state of California. So if we're getting people out of cars, if the bus becomes a first choice instead of a car, first choice, literally a first choice, why not? You can text on the bus. You can sit there and text the whole time you're on the bus.
It doesn't cost $9,000 a year average.
And you're not killing anybody when you text on the bus.
And now they got Wi-Fi and USB ports.
Mm-hmm. And you look at the renderings of that beautiful version of that street, and it's how is that ruining the street? All these people are saying, why do you want to ruin it? Why do you want to ruin it? It's is that ruined? Looks like paradise.
Yeah, have you walked into the middle of Colorado Boulevard? It's like a wasteland of concrete and speeding cars. You feel like your life is in jeopardy.
Yeah.
Some of those unsignalized crosswalks.
Yeah, and I get that, like, it is scary when a large part of the community is vocal about it and they're sort of your base or whatever. Something that came to mind, like, thinking about it today was, like, for this crisis of homelessness was, like, the absolute number one priority, always traffic, right? Like, I remember when Villaraigosa and Mayor Hahn were running against each other the second time, it was, like, just the coverage was all about, like, how I'm going to get rid of traffic. And I remember listening to that in traffic, just sitting in traffic, listening to them argue about it. And now we had 2020, which was like this horrible year, but it was like there was no real traffic and people were riding bikes. And I think that there is a taste now more than ever for what is possible. You know what I mean? What we could have. And I do think that there are more people open-minded and open to the ideas of alternative transportation than ever before. E-bikes are like selling. Bikes are like, it's like impossible to get a new bike now, right? Bike companies are just selling out. The stock is gone, right? Like as soon as it's ready. So I think that is like something that should inform his decision, or at least it's not even his decision, his position.
Who is going to get that decision? I guess it goes to the Metro board, right? And then they vote?
Yeah.
Really?
Kevin De Leon's running for the Metro board if he runs for mayor. You know, in theory, the board could say, thanks for the advice, Kevin, but we're doing it. If the mayor wanted that. But nobody's seen the mayor's backbone in a while for any issues related to climate or transportation. Right. So
it's interesting, though. I don't know, because like after... I think at the end of Mayor Villaraigosa's term, people had a negative view on what he had done in his term as mayor. But I think that later on we saw, you know, some of the transportation work that he had done was seen differently. And I kind of think that's Measure M is very significant. And we'll see like what comes of that. But I think that there's funding for it. Supervisor Solis supported it. A lot of elected officials have supported it. So you're right, he didn't make a decision. He didn't like take a full position. He thinks that there needs to be more input. And I think that there can always be more input, right? But I think that there is some consensus, maybe not broad consensus, but I do think that people want to stay for Colorado Boulevard.
What do you think about the tea leaves that I was trying to read into this letter? I mean, the letter basically talks all about process. You know, oh, there was only one meeting when there's been 20 meetings and there wasn't time for the Eagle Rock community to give input. And I think it feels like the letter is De Leon capitulating to the NIMBYs. He leaked it to the Boulevard Sentinel. He didn't post it on social media. He said it maintained 2 lanes of traffic each way. So there's a bunch of kind of sops to the NIMBYs. But there's also sort of, could it be some face-saving thing where Metro spends a bunch of money and holds a bunch more meetings and a bunch of people get up and whine and then De Leon says, oh, well, I tried it and delayed it, whatever. I did my best, but Metro went ahead with it or something. Is there like a face-saving solution for De Leon where he gets to stay above the fray? Or should we just read it as De Leon's joined full NIMBY and fuck the climate?
I don't know how much to read the tea leaves, as you say, but I think that the letter is extremely disappointing. I think that he's not wrong. There is a divided community, right? And if you're representing a community, you are representing everybody in that community, and you need to make sure that you're listening to everybody's position. I think that he is taking into account a very vocal group of people in Eagle Rock. It is not easy politically to navigate whatever this is. In the letter, I don't see him talking about the negative impact of the project. It is more he is outlining sort of the problems within the fractured community. Do you know what I mean?
He's not saying bus rapid transit doesn't work.
Right.
Lane removal doesn't work. He's saying people didn't have time to input, which is
what they always say.
Yeah, in some ways, it's like the refuge of scoundrels. When you can't criticize the project on principle, you can criticize the process that led to it.
Yeah. He says, my request of Metro is simple. Now that the county is on the brink of fully reopening, they must hold a series of well-advertised and COVID-safe in-person meetings. So
why?
Well, I think that I have said as much as, and I think other people, I'm not going to, I think there's room for even more input in favor of the beautiful Boulevard, right? There's Occidental students that have not had a chance to have input. I think there's some people who would even like to have seen a stop at one point closer to the college. I don't see it as, he's not saying this is a bad project. Yeah. If he had said that, it would have been too much for all of us. It was already quite a bit to deal with. It was already like, what? This is not bad for climate change. What are you talking about? Like, this is a key component of fighting climate change even from the Paris Accord, right? It's like you have to act locally. And it's like the person who thinks that if it doesn't matter if I litter, and then like everybody thinks that, and then all of a sudden there's like an ocean full of plastic. It's a similar concept. You can't let a few people in Eagle Rock undermine bus rapid transit for the city of Los Angeles, for the entire San Fernando Valley and San Gabriel Valley,
It's just insane how a council member can have a lot of influence in that. It's like Mitch Englander when he basically held up the Metrolink double track for 20 NIMBYs that lived along the track or whatever a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the problem with our political power structure locally is like you don't have anyone with just singular power, and you have a bunch of very powerful individuals scattered all over the place. The mayor of New York is like a governor essentially, or it's like a king. Crazy power. You just say, no, we're doing bus lanes. It's like you just do it.
Do you communicate with his people enough to where maybe there's like a follow-up conversation after
my tweet?
Yeah.
You know what? I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not. I don't want to make it like a personal attack. I think there's too many like personal attacks in general. People.
No, it wasn't disrespectful at all.
Right. I hope it's not. I hope nobody sees it that way. So I have had conversations with them over the years.
It does feel like, and I'm sensitive to Streetsblog's made some attacks that I think have been, how do I say it, overly dismissive of people who should be allies. And I think Kevin De Leon, based on his record in the state legislature, should be an ally. I think our approach needs to not be super critical of De Leon, but I think antagonistic of De Leon, kind of backing him into a corner. Not that anyone on this call has that kind of power, but inviting him to do the right thing. Kevin De Leon, you know better. You've stood up for this, fought for these sorts of solutions. There's one right in front of you. We know you can support this. That's the kind of messaging I'd like to see. I don't know. I'd like to give him the opportunity to do the right thing.
Yeah, okay. And I agree with you. And I wonder sometimes if when we want something badly, we read a letter like what he wrote and we read it more intensely than it was intended to be read. My first time through it, I was like, oh, he's killing the bike lane. He's killing the bus lane. I was like, tweet. And I think that I can see a little bit more nuance than I did the first pass. I don't agree with it. And I still think that like we've had a lot of meetings. I don't think that there needs to be more planning. I think that it's already going to take a long time. I don't think we need to add more time. Because a lot of these things have to happen now. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these things really have to happen that we want to happen. Are we going to be able to, for instance, is the LA River bike path ever going to be fully completed? You know what I mean? Is the people on this call, are we ever going to ride that? Or are we going to be dead by the time it's done? Like honestly.
Well,
and I think
Metro has funding to do that prior to 2028. And it's the hardest part through downtown is.
And to give Kevin De Leon credit because he did get quite a bit of that funding.
Yeah. I would say, though, reading that letter, there's a sort of aloofness. It feels to me like, and I'm reading into it too, whatever, but there's a sense of Kevin De Leon sort of saying, like, I don't want to be in the middle of this issue. I don't want to alienate voters. I don't want to take a strong stand on anything, whatever. But I think that's not leadership. I think if Kevin De Leon wants to be the mayor of Los Angeles, he wants to be the head of Metro. If he wants to be the head of Metro, he needs to show that he can support transit riders. So we'll see.
I love Jerry Brown. Whether you agreed with everything he did or not, it was like just this very decisive attitude or type of actions that he took. Miss that guy. We should have a big Jerry Brown statue somewhere.
just a frazzled guy.
Is he frazzled? I'm more frazzled than
It's leadership. I think folks like Mike Bonin, folks like your boss, Laura Friedman, they put their feet down for doing the right thing. And it's too often, I feel like there's this sort of brand of politician that sort of tries to stay out of conflict and not stand for very much. And I feel like Kevin De Leon as a state legislator was taking a stand role, and now as a council member and I believe mayoral hopeful has like stepped back from being a leader and tried to be a kind of above the fray and not showing climate leadership like you did in the Senate. Anyways, Don, you called me. Am I supposed to still be on this phone, or was I
absolutely, man? I love it when you're on here. No. We're always trying to sneak you on, Joe, reluctant as you are, to join us on this.
I gotta go round up my daughter and get her some dinner at some point, though. So
yeah, whenever you need to go, man, you can take off. But it's always fun to have you on. So you guys are having a great conversation. I was just letting you go.
It's good to talk to you in person.
Yeah. Good to see your face, Seamus.
Yeah, I can't believe that they're going to do these meetings in person. So, see, I feel like on the media side of things, like I want to do things to pressure. Like that's ridiculous. Why would you host an in-person meeting when it's so easy to do it on Zoom?
One thing that's funky about that too is that if they want to do those right away, it's summer and Occidental College students aren't around and stuff. So I don't know. It feels a little bit like poor timing for another round of meetings, or maybe deliberately avoiding a big constituency time for doing more meetings. But we'll see.
I guess I hadn't thought of it as something like that. I hope that Zoom meetings are sort of here to stay because it makes it so much easier to access these important meetings. But I do think that for something that's hyper local, having a few meetings in Eagle Rock, I do think that there should be one in the fall, probably at Occidental. I've been to things at Occidental during the school year, and those get packed. People show up.
Yeah, okay, fine. If you're going to stretch it out, then let's stretch it out to the fall when Occidental students can weigh in.
For sure.
So,
I mean,
all right, let's do this.
These meetings don't happen. You wouldn't have like 5 meetings.
Okay, so we got to accept this guy's new process and just play the game. And
in terms of pressure, I would say, honestly, it is about highlighting the benefits of the project. I really believe that. The benefits of the project speak for themselves. I don't totally love it when we call out NIMBYs. I mean, I don't like NIMBYism, but I do think that it can be counterproductive in terms of getting people to accept massive change in their neighborhoods, which we need massive change.
No, I agree. Joe probably doesn't agree with that.
No, I think in my higher self, I understand that calling a racist white homeowner a racist white homeowner.
I mean,
that's different. Racist white homeowner.
Joe, listen. It's not just.
It's fine. I'm fine with racist white homeowner.
Hold on. No. There are a lot of people in Los Angeles, a lot of people of color who are homeowners in Los Angeles. It's not just racist white homeowners. It's like the homeowner class. The thing is with this country is that homes are investments for people's retirement and all this stuff. And there's all this pressure for home prices to go up. And these are the people that are going to be staying there. And a lot of times people that rent will come and go from a neighborhood. So politician automatically has to listen to homeowners a lot because they're so invested in the district. So I'm just saying, like, give them a little bit of a break. It goes a little bit extreme when you're like a racist white homeowners. It's like, yeah, there are a lot of white homeowners, but there are a lot of homeowners of people of color.
Yeah, no,
all align on that same tip of like they don't want to see their investment collapse or whatever. They don't like it's these kind of pressures that I don't necessarily like blame people for being worried about those kind of things in their lives, right?
I'm just trying to parse out the NIMBYs, the groups that make up the cloud of NIMBY. And I think that you have a couple racist white homeowners. See, like
totally.
You know what I mean? And so I'm saying it's okay if somebody is a racist white homeowner to call them that. But be specific. I think that broad strokes, like NIMBYism, I know people who, when I got involved in the neighborhood council, in 2014. I was like against some developments, and then I totally changed just after learning about it. And I think that one of my friends called me a NIMBY, and I hadn't even heard the word before. Like I didn't know the word, and then he called me it, and I was like, I got mad, whatever. I just called him something else. But but now I feel like even in the YIMBY whatever movement, there's a broad spectrum of people.
What I was trying to say was, Seamus, that you're right, that we can understand people who are fearful or concerned about change. Don, I think you're right. We can understand people who are concerned about their retirement, their property values, and I think that it isn't helpful. Like there's times when at the end of the week, when I've freaking fought Metro for pushing a freeway project that even Caltrans doesn't want, it's just like, I kind of throw my hands up and say, what the fuck? And I think that that's not the way to get a project like this passed. And when I'm proofreading my article and stuff like that, I take out the word fucking racist white homeowner and put in something nicer.
Oh my God.
So I understand, and that's sort of a joke, but that's whatever. I think we do need to take people's concerns into account. And at the same time, I think we need to show leadership, and like Seamus is saying, show this project good for the air. This project is good for the businesses.
The region,
this project is good for creating a sense of place where people are going to want to be and hang out and stuff. And so I think we're not going to win everybody over, but we should pay attention to the awesome benefits that this project brings to Eagle Rock
100%.
and not get too bogged down in calling people names. So
I agree.
I'm sorry to the extent that I've done that.
No,
it's hilarious that I would be the one that is like correcting or like sort of.
That's true. I've seen Don hurl some insults.
I'm the worst. Yeah.
I'm about to be like, damn, calm down.
I've calmed myself, I think, a lot more in the.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that when maybe groups that support the project should also put on some meetings, some you know what I mean, like to highlight how beautiful. I mean, the rendering it really should speak for itself.
How about Felicia's idea of having meetings on the actual bus that goes through there, like transit riders, right?
I love that idea.
Hold on. Okay, my daughter's here, so I gotta head out. Good night, you guys.
Good night.
Take care.
I'm looking forward to riding with my daughter down those lanes and on Colorado, and to riding the bus.
Which part of town do you live in, Joe?
I live in Koreatown, but actually I went to Occidental College. I lived in Eagle Rock for 4 years, and I worked there afterwards. So I'm not an Eagle Rock stakeholder, but
you are a stakeholder
in Los Angeles.
No, fuck that.
So
you are a stakeholder because this is connecting the whole city. We're all stakeholders in this stuff. I'm tired of this.
I'm not a local. I'm not the guy making the decision. I am a stakeholder.
Totally.
Okay. Good night.
We're gonna make stickers, T-shirts. I am a stakeholder. I am a stakeholder. T-shirts. Come on, baby. Let's make this happen.
Thanks for having me on, dude.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. We always love having Laura Friedman on, and you.
You said you're riding a lot. You riding a lot, or riding some?
I'm riding some. I have this really nice road bike, so I'm doing some.
What is it?
It's a BMC carbon fiber bike.
It's gotta be huge. It's gotta be huge. You're so tall. How tall are you?
I'm 6'8".
I mean, what does that bike even look like?
It's so badass. My dear friend Nick Hippolito actually gave me this bike just out of nowhere. He's just like, "Hey, dude, do you want this bike?" And it's like carbon fiber. It's like the best bike I've ever owned.
Is it big enough for you?
Yeah, because he's tall too. He's like 6'5". So.
Are you fast? That sounds like a fast bike.
I'm not fast.
I'm gonna do a loop. You should come with me. We'll do Palos Verdes and then come up the LA River.
Palos Verdes to the LA River.
So down the bike path.
Okay.
Down Bologna Creek, and then down the beach bike path, and then over around the peninsula, and then up from Long Beach all the way up to
the river path that goes all the way down there.
I want to see, I just want to kind of get, I know a lot of it is actually done. You can ride for a long time on the bike path, but there are huge chunks where it's just not done. Those are the chunks I'm interested in. I'll send you the invitation.
Okay, cool.
All right, man.
All right, Seamus, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That was Bike Talk. Let's take this out, Nick. Here you go.
I rise in the morning and greet the day. Pull out on my way. And transportation shows I care. Every turn of the pedal cleans the air. Greener than green, I'm saving the planet. Just like my friends Dale, Sean, Toby, and Janet. No greenhouse gas, a tiny carbon footprint up your ass. I'm on a motherfucking bike. I'm on a motherfucking bike.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Bike Talk. If you want to hear more, go to kpfk.org, navigate to programs, and choose Bike Talk. On the Bike Talk page, click on the archives link to play or download shows posted in the last 4 months. Go to biketalk.com and copy or click on the RSS link to subscribe. Our Twitter handle is BikeTalkPFK. On Facebook, we are Bike Talk. You can become friends and join our group.